Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. If you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is Hitman 3. My name is Anthony Ragucci, and always my co-host, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch, how are you?
Doing well. Didn't snow that bad.
I mean, it was actually, I'm not going to lie, it was kind of bad driving home in it, but like, it was the kind of snow that was like, it hit kind of hard, but then it slowed down enough to where just the fucking...
It went from 3 to 6 to 4 to 8, like we maybe got 2 to 3 inches heavy snow.
So I drove...
And it didn't start snowing till 7.
So that's the thing. I woke... Same. Yeah. So I woke up at 7 expecting there to be like a light coat. There was nothing. I was like, it's going to be nothing. Yeah. And then we started driving to the airport. I'm like, this isn't that bad. And even as I was getting to the airport... it was like really nothing major, and then I dropped off my girlfriend, and then I started coming back, and I was like, it's kind of getting a little heavier now. That
I was like, I'm gonna go to the gym, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and then I started coming back, and I'm like, oh god, it's getting pretty hefty, and I didn't see like many plows out, so I was like, so I just was driving back, took it slow, but there was one part that I got to, it was a hill, and I saw it, and I knew, I was like, I'm not gonna make it up to this, but I still tried it anyways. Got like a quarter of the way up, and I'm like, what do I do? Fuck. So I just backed down, and it was fine. I had to go around like an extra 15 minutes, but it worked out. Fun snowstorms.
I was trying to think of a way to segue this into Hitman, but
we can't. Well, there's a snowy level in Hitman. Actually, I don't even think there is in this one. No, there isn't, so we can't really do anything. Anyways, Hitman 3.
But a feature of Hitman 3 is maybe there's snowy levels in Hitman 1 or 2 that you can play.
There definitely is in Hitman 1. Hitman 1, there is a snowier level. So, it's not completely.
Spill it to me. I've heard a lot of good things about Hitman 3 by IO Interactive. And I'm excited to hear for a few reasons, but
sure.
I did not play this game. Trio did.
Yep.
And take it away, man.
I really enjoyed this game. I think it's kind of one of those things that it's mechanically more of the same, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, I think that system really works. I think the disguise system in this Hitman series works very well. I think there's a lot of mechanics with just the way, like throwable objects and how you use poisons and things like that. It all works so well that, as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So there's like one kind of new big thing in it, which is like a camera, which allows you to hack like certain things in the environment. And then other than that, you can unlock these new pathways, I guess, through levels that like you open a door that's always now open for you.
I've heard
whenever you would like to go back and walk through.
So is it only certain things or no?
It's only
like
certain
every door?
No. So there are like certain doors that are pretty kind of like heavily, like they kind of have like a, I don't even know. Like one door had
a vault.
Yeah, like
thing.
It opens up and then that's always open. So you can kind of circumvent some of the more annoying like areas that where guards are stationed at, or you might it might offer a bit of a shortcut, but at what cost? You might get caught or something. But a lot of fun stuff there. I think where it really kind of shines is the locations and just the level design and all the different things going on in the level. I really liked the what's it? I don't know how to say it. I'm gonna butcher it butcher it too. Chongqing, China. You go to this.
Okay.
Jeez, what is the name of the freaking organization that they work for? I can't remember. Anyways, you go to a location where they're basically holding all of the hit lists and the clients and all this stuff for your old job, which at this point you're kind of on the outs of because of what's been going on story-wise in the last 3 games. This isn't a very story-heavy Hitman, which I was kind of disappointed, especially...
Were the last one story-heavy?
No. I should say this series isn't as story-heavy
as the
other ones were.
Yeah.
Like, especially like a Blood Money and stuff. Like, there was kind of more of an overarching narrative going on, which I enjoyed. And I will admit, the first time I played Hitman 1 of IO's interpretation, I was like, eh.
Yeah.
But then
yeah,
I kind of came back to it, and I was like, oh, I see what they're doing. Like, this is really cool. Like, the amount of different pathways through a level and different ways to kill people, and there's this kind of morbid comedic tone to it in a way of just like it's just all silly
there's
shit.
Always been.
Exactly, and it's really fun. I think IOI has really kind of nailed what they can do with the series. Again, I don't think if you're looking for a crazy, mind-blowing story, you're gonna get like your head blown off. Because I was a little bit disappointed with the last level because it kind of just went like the way that I could only see it going, and like I don't know if that's necessarily a good or a bad thing. I can get into spoilers about that later. But overall, I would say if you're a Hitman fan, get this whole thing. Like, get Hitman 1 through 3. I feel like you can get a really good bang for your buck. There's so much replayability in it. I think there's like 16 locations total, and I'd say most of them are good. I think there was like Hitman 2, the locations I was not as high on. I think there was like one at a racetrack, which I thought was kind of okay. There was one... You were in kind of like this like Congo type area. I don't even know. But like, again, kind of like not very memorable levels. Whereas Hitman 1, you go to like a fashion show in Paris for your first mission. Then you go to this like really high tech medical facility up in like the Japanese mountains. And it's like super interesting, like just level design and like really cool and interesting just buildings and architecture and shit like that. Whereas like in the second one, it's bland and I don't remember it as much. But this one, I think basically every single location is a good time. But
yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. When you buy this game, you can buy a season pass that comes with the Hitman 2 and the Hitman 1 levels. But if you already have them,
they just get loaded right in.
Right. And I think that's a really cool way to kind of like, integrate those older games. Because like you, I think a lot of other people, Hitman 1 being an episodic game kind of like left a lot of people with like they
played the first level and were like me basically like and was like I don't know if I'm going back.
Did the second one do the same system or something similar?
They released them all at once. It was all it was they still had the same idea of these separate levels that kind of had their own story but added up to the other one. But yeah, it was all released at once.
Yeah, so from what I'm understanding is like Hitman 3 is like the best version of Hitman so far. They've really learned from 1 and 2, and 3 is your bread and butter.
Absolutely. I mean, it really feels like they knew what they were doing. They want to do a bit of a swan song to this trilogy.
Is this the last one?
For now, anyways.
Yeah.
Like, they definitely, surprise, the ending's very ambiguous in the way of how like it can go, which again, that speaks to the thing that I was saying earlier. It's kind of predictable, I guess. I don't think there's anything mind-blowing you're gonna be like, what? Like, I really kind of was like, okay, so this is how it's gonna happen. Like I said, the last mission you're on like this train.
Okay.
And
that sounds fun.
And it's cool, but like the whole idea is you got to get to the front of the train, and what kind of is not fun about it is you can kill anyone you want. And like, so the way the system works is the more innocent people you kill or the more non-targets you kill, the more it detracts from your overall score.
Even guards?
So even guards. So the idea is honestly, you can play the game however you want. You can go in there with a fucking rifle and kill literally everybody at the place, which is one of my favorite thing in these games. You murder someone and they go, they're dead. Then they drag their body to like an office and then that's it. And like they don't call the cops. There's no investigation. They're like normal people. Yes. They're like, all right, I'm gonna put this body in a body bag and drag it to our office for later, and then everything just continues. No big deal. But that's obviously there's some things in this game that you kind of are gonna have to let go. It's like you could literally lure a guy away from another man that he's talking to, take his disguise, and walk right up to that same man. He's like, hey man, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, you work here? Good.
So it's not too strict on the stealth mechanics, I guess.
I see. Okay, that's not... Maybe I'm giving the wrong impression. That part, it kind of has to be liberal, because that was always... Like, the disguise thing was always a Hitman trope. But whereas, like...
Oh, you're talking about in a disguise.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so, like, you take, like, the dude's disguise... And, there's that obvious kind of just jumping... or disbelief of like, all right, well, he's obviously like, I've seen 8 different working bald men tonight with a weird tattoo on the back of that, but it's okay, it's fine. But no, stealth wise, I think it's probably my like the best in the series, if not like one of my favorite stealth games out there, because I think it's very tight controls. It's very, intuitive, I guess would be a good word. And it feels like everything is where you think it would be. Like, all right, I have to crouch. That's B. I have to get into cover. RB. I have to shoot. Aim with left trigger. Shoot with right trigger. It kind of it's
tight.
It's very tight. And it reminds me, I don't think it's as good and as tight as Metal Gear Solid 5. But the cover mechanic and like those stealth mechanics, I wish you could army crawl in Hitman. You can't do that.
I find it interesting that you come back to MGS5 when you talk about stealth, because like I know you weren't big on it story wise.
No, but gameplay wise, I had so much fun.
Really, I don't know if you realize it. You do bring it up.
It's one of my favorite game. I mean, story wise, like I said, I don't really care, but I love a fucking stealth game that puts your feet to the fire and like makes you kind of commit to that if that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, a lot of these games give you that option to go balls to the wall, and I feel like if they don't do that, they wouldn't get maybe some of that extra sales that they get in. But I do miss a true stealth game out there, and I feel like we haven't gotten one besides this in a while.
What do you mean a true stealth game?
And like you can't go balls to the wall. If you get caught, you're dead. And you have to stay stealth the entire. It's like
Dishonored, Thief. I'm trying to think. Like you know, you have the choice.
But
Assassin's Creed, even to a point, like you know, there was like, especially in those beginning ones, there was reasons to be stealthy, but like you know, you can fuck everyone up if you want to. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right there. But like, here's the thing: is that a fun game?
That's the other thing. If someone doesn't, I know I'm kind of niche in that.
No, I kind of agree with you. But again, I think like I'm asking the question that I don't really care about. Like, will people play that?
And you're right. I don't know.
There's definitely a difficulty curve.
Apparently not, because I think they stopped. That's why they stopped making those type of games. Like you don't like even like a Splinter Cell. Like Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, that's one of my favorite old like stealth games.
Yeah, that was on the original Xbox, right?
Yeah, and that was one where
is that the first one or the second one?
I think it's the second one.
Yeah, because Splinter Cell and then Chaos Theory. Yeah.
But again, just making you kind of commit to that bit. But I think this does a good job of letting you go balls to the walls if you want to. But if you want to be stealthy and you want to like really go that route, there's a bunch of different options to take. There's a bunch of different missions to give. One thing I didn't love, and I noticed this, so I got Hitman 1 again. I had that on PlayStation, but
the original
Hitman. One.
Yeah.
And then it was like, do you want Hitman 1 for an extra $20 with everything? I'm like, yeah, I'll pay it again. I don't care. Give it to me. So I got Hitman 1, and I was going through, and those first couple missions really had a lot of... So within each mission, there's story beats that you can follow, story tracks that like get you unique kills.
Real quick, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Does Hitman 1 have Russians in it? Or snowy levels that would imply maybe Russian-looking guys? I played a Hitman at a friend's house, but I'm not sure if it was Blood Money or the original.
I don't remember that in Blood Money. Blood Money, like there's a level, and it's kind of in like what could look like a Eastern European snowy town. It's not coming to mind.
Okay, maybe Blood Money's the third one, right?
I think so. That's when I started playing.
Yeah.
I think there's Hitman. Let's look it up right now.
Hitman. Yeah, because I remember playing at a friend's house. And I really couldn't tell you what the fuck was going on. But like I remember this one level, and like he like put like, you know, like a fucking like fur cap on.
Sure.
And it kind of looked like European, but I really don't have any sort of touchstone.
Yeah, I don't know. So the first one was Hitman Codename 47. That was in 2000.
That's what the first one's called?
Yeah, Hitman Codename 47.
I couldn't have told you that.
Second one is Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. Then there's Hitman Contracts. I don't know if that's like a DLC or something. Hitman Blood Money, and then Hitman Absolution, which I actually really liked. But the one thing I didn't love in Absolution was the disguise mechanic, because like you take on a disguise and then everyone who had that disguise recognize you, which I mean makes sense in real life, obviously, but like that doesn't work.
Here's your pure stealth mechanics coming.
But like if you did do that, like there's no point in using it because you're using that disguise to get into areas with those guys. But if all those guys know that you're not one of them, well, what's the point? Then that's what I think these Hitman games do well. They have got like, if you put on a certain disguise, there are certain people wearing that disguises or that same disguise that will be like disguises that will be like, hey, what's going, like if you like stick around them too long, you're like, who the fuck are you?
Right.
Like, yeah.
I think I was watching a streamer play, higher level guards will detect your bullshit.
Yeah, because they're like I know, or just like certain NPCs will like know which certain workers or whatever like are not on the payroll or whatever. But what was I saying? Yeah, with the story beats, I can't remember what they're called. They're like these story threads within the mission that it directs you to very easily, and they do these special kills that get you extra points. And in the first level of the first Hitman, there's like 7 of those, and I think that even
seems
continues.
kind of overwhelming.
It kind of was, and that's kind of why I don't think I liked it at first. If you go in there and just be like, all right, this is the mission I want to do. These are the 2 whatever special storylines that I want to do. You go in, you get it done, and you get this. You start to really learn the level, and it really kind of is about replaying it and like realizing like, oh, this is where I could poison him if I wanted to, or this is where I could drown someone, or this is how I could do an accident kill, or there's kind of a bit of chess in it. And I'm not gonna lie, if you want to be stealthy in this game, like any stealth game, I think patience is just key. You're gonna be waiting. I'm not a lot. Like if you really like in certain things, like you set up a certain kill and it's like, all right, they're doing their whatever walk around the level, whatever pre-programmed thing they do. It's gonna take them a little bit to get back there if you miss that. But then that's kind of on you. If you have multiple targets, you can go take care of your other target while that one's just waiting to happen. So you could like set up an accident and then just be like, all right, now that's just a matter of time.
It's going to play out.
Yeah, it's going to play out. So I'll go take care of B target while that's happening. And then like something will come up, like a camera will come up in the top right corner and show like what the accident occurring. And then there's like I think the point system in this is another kind of genius thing. And you get this kind of rack of different things that you can do in a level to get you different points, like different kills, and getting certain like outfits will get you extra points. Discovering every part of the level gets you certain points. So it's kind of all about getting to the point where you have all these things unlocked, and as you keep unlocking or getting higher level in these levels, you unlock like starting locations, you unlock new disguises. It's cool. It really is.
It seems cool, and kind of thinking about it and like imagining if I was gonna play this game, I feel like I would like, I've seen like the board of like the medals you can get, and maybe not medals, but like the different
challenges
things you can do in each level. And I would look at that at first. On a first run through, I'd be like, how can I do as much as this as possible? And I think that's a flaw as me as a gamer, because I wouldn't have the patience
to just go through a level and do like 3 of them
and not look at anything and just play.
Yeah.
Like I'm a completionist type, and if I can if any way I can get the achievements faster, the better. But like looking at that board, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna try to do this, and then like maybe I can do this, and that at the same time.
So, and I do think that's actually part of it as well. It's like, all right, how can I get these 6 challenges on this one playthrough? And there are kind of ways to cheat it in the way of like, so you can poison someone with a certain type of poison that makes them go throw up, so that allows you to like drown them in the toilet or whatever, and that's a kill type. Or so like you could save right before you kill them. You can save at any time. Very liberal saving allowances. Yeah.
Okay.
But there is a separate level or difficulty that's called professional, which only allows you 3 saves, I think, and everything's a lot harder. Like the level is different setup. Like there's different guards in
enemy
certain places.
Yeah.
Different like items aren't in the exact same place that they were before. So you kind of have to relearn the level again on that new
That's kind of a cool mechanic.
difficulty.
I think this is like sort of off topic. Dark Souls 2 New Game Plus actually does that. Because like once you learn a Dark Souls level, you can go through it pretty easy. But like switching up the placements like allows
it throws
for
you off, and it kind of
replayability throws you off. Yeah, that's interesting.
No, it is, and I
Makes sense too.
I do remember with Hitman 1, I got to the point where I like hit level 10 on every level. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just start doing professional. And since I know that level so well, I'd save like maybe once. And like you feel like the assassin. Like you run through, you're like, all right, I'm gonna poison this cup, so that way when they come through, they'll die while I'm already over at the other target, taking them down in whatever way. I know this is my way out, and bing, bang, boom, I'm run through. And it's like satisfying to know like, oh, you didn't have to like reuse your save every time. You didn't have to like really, I don't know, because there are ways to easily cheat the game. Like
Sure.
especially with the saving mechanic.
So here's my question: how many levels are in the game, and do you think there's enough?
Absolutely. So again, this is gonna be.
Forget the Hitman 1 and 2 stuff.
No, this is in Hitman 3. Absolutely, I think this is a $60, absolutely worthy of a $60 price tag. I think you get a ton out of it, but it's as much as you want to put into it. I'm gonna be honest. Like if you get through a level once and you're like, well, that was fun, but I don't really want to do much else, then you'd be finished this game in, I don't know, 6 hours maybe. If you literally just went bang, 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 and then you're like, I'm done. I'm not replaying anything. Like you'd be done.
So it's about 6 hours long.
Probably if you wanted to just if you literally just only did the story and then you were like, I don't want to try to replay these levels at all or do anything different.
What else is there? I mean, like I know you can go back and replay the levels, but like as you're going through, what else can you do besides the story?
What do you like? You can just do different. So what I did, I played through each level one. Like I did the first level, and then I did the second level, did the third level, fourth level, fifth level, and then so I finished that, and then I went back to the first, and then I did the third, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try this kill, I'm gonna try this different way to do this, or see if I can hit this challenge. And so again, it's comes down to, are you down to replay levels a lot, because that's what it is,
right?
Yeah, and are you okay with the idea that, like, just playing through one level one way does not do that level justice, I feel like. So, like, if that's what you're about and you just want to kind of be one and done with this and you don't want to go through...
It's really not the game for you.
I don't think it's the game for you.
Right. The replayability is kind of built into it. It's not like an optional thing. It's like
Absolutely.
You're supposed to play this game multiple times. If you're not playing.
Yeah, you're really not getting the full experience.
It's kind of a dumb thing to say, but...
No, but it's kind of like Dishonored on steroids, or not on steroids, less so, like... Dishonored had 8 levels that allowed you to do that, but I think these give you so much within those 6 levels that I think it equates to something like that. And, like if you were...
Good.
But yeah, no, like no, that's it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what I was gonna say is Dishonored's levels are more like mini open world maps,
and that's
and they have their side quests that like I definitely don't think Hitman kind of has that shit.
No,
and
but
like there's a currency and you buy upgrades.
Oh
and,
yeah. Absolutely
and,
not.
Like the overseer, what's his name?
Oh yeah,
the
outsider.
Outsider. Thank you.
We're here. Yeah. No, yeah,
like,
definitely.
There's a lot more mechanics than in Hitman. I'm like, I don't think you're upgrading stuff.
Well, no, so you can get certain upgraded like guns and things like that, and I think most of it is like just cosmetic based though. Like with like certain guns, yeah, like you get like you have your. I got with the pre-order. You get like all the different silver baller pistols, and like there's a red one, there's a white one, there's a black one that go with like your suits that they give you too. But yeah, most of that stuff is cosmetic. But you are unlocking things like different tools to use by completing more of those levels, like by leveling up in those within those levels. So yeah, I don't think it's the same in that way, but I'd call them. Those are mini open worlds in Dishonored. These are medium open worlds. I don't even know how to I don't know how to describe, because like truly you could, if you go through one of these levels, you could explore less than a quarter of the level.
Really?
If you wanted to just do one like assassination storyline, like you might discover like 4 of the different areas.
So before you finish the game, you replayed these levels a few times?
No, I finished. I just went through. I finished the last level, and then I've just been like, okay, cool. So now I've been going back and like replaying, and I've been actually replaying Hitman 1 because I got that on there.
So once you finished, you went back.
Correct.
I mean, that's probably what I would do too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've just been diving back in here and there. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think it's one of those things where if you get like a little bit of a rush by just checking off some things and like and completing things and lists. But I also think it's fun to do and fun to check off those things, because I mean, I'm not a completionist. I'm not going to sit there and do every single one. I'm going to do the ones that feel interesting, but they do make you do certain like challenging things, like what I like. So like there's certain badges, like one is suits only. So you go through, you have to kill everyone wearing your suit.
So you can't use.
You can't change a different disguise. You have to. So it really kind of makes you actually be very stealthy and just not be seen. And then it's going to be harder not to kill anyone when you're doing like that type of playthrough. But then there's one called Silent Assassin, suit only. So it's like you can't be seen, you can't kill anyone, you can't be caught on any video recordings or anything like that, and the bodies can't be found.
That's kind of like MGS5, no alerts,
exactly,
no kills.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it does create these interesting challenges, like in Hitman 1. Not to go off topic, but there's the last level is that like specialized medical facility, but you can start out as a ninja, and there's a challenge to complete it only wearing the ninja costume and not being seen, and it's tough, but I did it, and it's like, and they give you shurikens and shit. It's a lot of fun, and it's very tongue in cheek, and I think if you enjoy Hitman, it might take you, if you were a fan of the older Hitmans, it might take you a little bit to dip in. But just dip a little bit more than your toe in, and I think you will really enjoy
Yeah,
these
and
games.
again, like for somebody who hasn't played any of these new Hitmans, I think it's great that they're
I think so too.
bringing in the levels from the old games to play, but not the stories. I imagine it's just the levels.
The whole story. You can
No
play
shit.
Hitman 1 through 3, all the cuts. So in the third one, they actually
I that shit gets me going.
and it's cool. So like
I
literally,
love when games
and it's
do that.
Well, but it's very condensed too. So you go to your locations and it's Paris through to the Baltic Mountains or whatever the last one is. You can go through all of them. You can play the story from 1 all the way to 3.
I didn't know it was the story.
Yeah,
I
no,
just thought
it's
it was
all
the maps.
no, it's all
That-
and they're
that
all
changes things.
and they're all remastered.
How much is that season pass?
I think it's like I paid like $20 for it.
That's
And then I
fucking
had
worth it.
Hitman 2
That's 2
already,
games.
so that was
$10
just
per
on
game.
there. And yeah, man, I think it's very. And also, I didn't realize I'm playing all these missions on Hitman 1 that was like this extra DLC story.
That you never played.
I never played, so that was really cool to
What
get
about
to.
like the Gary Busey contract?
So those they'll
and Sean Dean.
Gary Busey. They'll start coming back. They're gonna start. Those are called elusive targets, and they're like timed, and you can only do them once. So I think they're gonna So they're gonna start doing those again. I think relatively soon.
Cool.
IOI next. They are working on also Mr. Bond himself.
I was gonna bring it up.
Yeah. So
I
and
was
this
gonna bring it
really.
up.
We've been talking. I swear to God, they're listening to our group chats because we
Dude.
literally like
They're
you brought
listening.
up the
They're
Bond
in my
thing.
fucking brain.
You brought up the Bond thing. And I'm like, yeah, like IOI has to do that. They basically do it with Hitman. And literally, not even a year later, I felt like they were like, we're working on a Hitman.
Dude,
game.
I was like, we were just talking
Yeah,
about
like
this.
it's
It was like
so
really
cool.
weird.
But I really think if they focus on story more with
Right.
Hitman, which I think they obviously will, or with James Bond.
I don't think it's a gimme, but I fucking hope.
I think it
really
is,
fucking
but
hope.
no, I
As a
do-
big Bond fan, like, give me that fucking story.
I think they're gonna. I don't think they'd let them do it if they weren't given a good story. I really
Yeah,
think the Bond
I
people,
actually really agree
like,
with
they
you there.
probably came in there with a.
Barbara Broccoli sitting fucking IO down and like, listen, Daniel Craig, best Bond out there.
Yeah, no, like they
Do it better.
dude, they probably made like a mock-up demo just in their Hitman engine, and they're like, "This is gonna look better," but like, this is our idea. Like, and they probably
Sure.
were like, because I mean, that engine and the way that game is set up is already very. I think there's definitely some changes that would need to be made, but it's very conducive to being like a secret agent type thing. I mean, it's basically kind of like it's an espionage type of game in the vein of like a Metal Gear Solid. Like it's
And that's what I was gonna bring up at the end here. That like I'm looking at this game and I'm be like, what? This is the base for this 007 game that IO is gonna be making. If this game is good, 007 is pretty much a shoo-in.
I think so.
I think like I don't know if there's maybe you can talk about the cons in a second, but yeah, everyone seems to like Hitman 3. I haven't seen anyone be like this game is bad,
Sure.
and that just makes my heart
no, it's good.
like flutter because like if this Bond game is fucking incredible, if they cast an original actor, they get somebody to be the video game Bond, and they double down on the story, and they really like make this thing a legit Bond and be like, yeah, this is the video game Bond.
This
for
is
the
just
next
another. This is
10
just another
years.
Bond. Yeah, this is. Yeah, it could be really cool.
Right, like,
And I think, I still think they're gonna. We're not gonna turn this into a whole James Bond podcast, we promise. But I do. I want them to cast an actual actor
that's what I'm saying.
I think,
yeah.
like, I
get a
need to, like,
mocap in there, like
get a
make,
mocap, get,
make
like-
somebody the face.
because I think they can. They have this kind of opportunity because someone could be like, well, someone can be the movie Bond, which a lot more people are gonna be annoyed at and just whatever the fuck's going on. I'm gonna be the fucking Bond in the video game, and that's gonna be a way easier fucking time. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people out there like, I'm gonna fucking do that, and I feel like a lot of actors are like kind of branching more into like mocap stuff, not mainstream or like A-listers,
Right,
yet,
but
like
the video game industry is involved to that point where this is feasible. Where back
absolutely,
back in the day,
especially with this IP.
when Pierce Brosnan and even most of Daniel Craig's run, like this probably couldn't have been a thing.
No.
You know, you look at like, Death Stranding, Kojima's latest entry, and you look at the literal fucking AAA cast in that game. This is basically could be the opposite,
Well, and-
or they could get high profile actors to not necessarily be Bond, but be other characters.
Sure, that's true,
Willem
too.
Dafoe was in Everything or Nothing, which is a Pierce Brosnan
Yeah.
James Bond game. Like it's been done, like we've seen it. Like
Yeah.
we may not know about it, but like some of that shit has
Absolutely.
been there
Yeah,
for
yeah.
years. So who knows?
I don't know, man. I'm
Lot of
very
potential.
excited. There's a ton of potential. It's very early stages, so we'll see what happens with that. But IOI, I think they're a great developer. I think it's cool. They broke off. They used to be part of Square Enix, right? And then they broke off.
Square Enix used to be their publisher,
Right.
And then
I think they just like. I think they literally were just like, we're just parting ways. Like, it didn't seem like there was any bad blood or like there was just like.
I
oh,
remember when that happened, and it was kind of a big deal.
And then they were like, oh, but we're still keeping the Hitman IP or whatever, which was interesting.
Yeah. So do you have any cons for Hitman? You've only spoken positive. So
I mean, cons. I'm trying to think. I think again, it's not breaking the mold of It's not breaking ground of any kind. I'm not gonna say like it's not like, and I think story wise, yeah, it's very what we're used to in the vein of Hitman, and I think we kind of like I kind of saw the end coming from a mile away, which is fine because I wasn't really there for the story. I was there for the experience. I was there for the ride, as they say. It's the journey, not the destination. But the only thing that gives me pause, and not even pause is like I know like they're gonna do it bad, is the story element of the James Bond game because they haven't had to really focus that hard on that with Hitman.
Right, and that's where I think when they do that, they're gonna
they have to double down on that.
Right, and then that is the opportunity to be like, okay, like we mastered gameplay.
As well
we have the gameplay pat down pretty much. Let's focus on the story and the narrative and the characters. Let's actually build something up because Agent 47, for all intents and purposes, is a blank slate dude.
Well, he's a very what's the word?
He's a bald white guy. Doesn't get.
He's a bald white guy who loves killing people for money. Truly, that's it. Like he really he loves it. And if you slight him, he's gonna spend a long time trying to kill you. But then he's gonna go back to killing people for money. It's fine. And you're
like
right.
John Wick.
So it is. But even less like.
John Wick is like Hitman. Actually.
No, it's true, absolutely, and that honestly, he probably did get a little bit of inspiration. Like he even said he's gotten inspiration from like video games, I think, and stuff for that. But no, it's
John
so
Wick
true.
is Hitman written all over.
Absolutely,
yeah.
But yeah, cons. That's
Finally
the only.
saw this.
Yeah,
like recently.
Yeah, I don't know what. That's a whole nother podcast in itself. I think you should play Hitman. I think James Bond is in good hands with IOI. I mean, we should be. Cautiously optimistic only in the way of because of the story things like I've said, but there's
no stopping the Gooch train once it takes off.
I really don't have any reason to believe that after Hitman 3, which really was a great time, that Bond game will be anything but great, at least. So I'm very excited. Play Hitman 3. I think it's a fun time. Again, for the reasons I said, if you're not into replaying things a lot, though, don't get this game. Also, it's better when you do it stealth. At least I think. It feels like it's definitely... You can go balls to the wall, but, you're an idiot if you do that.
You heard it here first.
Right there. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you've been with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network, we very much appreciate it. You can find this podcast everywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We are on all these social medias at Delco Nerds on everything. Just search us on Facebook, Delco Nerd Network. We even got a Discord now, which is growing. And it's been a lot of fun. You can come in there and chat, ask us some questions, even on reviews. We're going to start try to use that feedback tab. If you see we have like a review coming up, throw a question in there. We'll try to get to it, and we'll figure that out. Gooch, am I missing anything?
We got a new camera if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah, it looks really good. Good job by Gooch.
Looks like sex.
It really does. Like. Sharp images. We look great.
The days of that fucking webcam are over. As long as that thing that's sitting on the button of my camera doesn't shift like it did in this one, but you didn't notice that.
We'll figure that out.
If you're watching this later on YouTube or...
Gooch, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, just actually YouTube, because then you would see the cut. Yeah,
that's probably true.
On Twitch, all live.
Also, yeah, and by the way, you can reach us at delconerds@gmail.com.
Yeah.
That is our email. You can send things there, questions, topic ideas. We love to hear from you. For Gooch.
Or in the Discord.
Yeah, or in the Discord. Yeah, right there. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.